Good evening, Tiger sports fans, and welcome back to another episode of Tiger Sports Nation. I'm Francisco Vila.
And I'm Gray Collins. And today we have a lot to get to as we recap the busy weekend we had in DePauw sports. But first, our own Joey Webster was able to sit down with DePauw center fielder Nick Nelson to discuss the upcoming baseball season for the Tigers.
Hi, I'm Joey Webster, here with the center fielder of the DePauw baseball team, Nick Nelson. Nick, thanks for being here.
Happy to be here.
Just wanted to ask a few questions, as I know the season's starting up here in a few days later this week.
Yep.
First question I'd have for you is just how do you think the team's looking this year?
Man, I think we're a senior-heavy team. We're definitely an older team than we've been in the past. A bunch of us seniors have played together since we were freshmen, obviously, and a lot of playing time as freshmen. So it's really cool to have a team that's not only developed itself together, but also has played together for a long time. I think we'll be really good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Looking back to last year, I know it wasn't necessarily the season that you wanted to have, but you also had a lot of guys that weren't here because of COVID rules and whatnot. What would you say is going to be different about this year? Like, what strengths is the team going to have? Well,
like you said, we had some guys not come back, and they're kind of key fundamental parts of our program in the last couple of years. And those guys coming back came out and just bring a better competitiveness to the team that we've been missing these last couple of years. Guys that really want to go out there and not only win, but also have fun with each other and play well with each other too. I think that's what we've been missing the last year, and that's what we'll have this year as seniors.
That's awesome. The last thing that I think I'd ask is, going into the year, is there any specific goals or a mindset that the team has in general?
Yeah, the team agreed on one goal, and is to do something we've never done before in the last 4 years of being in the program, which is go to the NCAC tournament. We've always been at the top. We're 1 game or 2 games away from playing against Denison or Worcester in the conference championship, and I think that's ultimately our biggest goal for the season.
Awesome. Well, Nick, thank you for being here. Glad we could hang out.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick, for taking the time to talk with us. This past weekend was a busy one for DePauw Athletics, as we had 8 teams competing.
The men's and women's swim teams competed in the NCAC championships, where the men placed 4th and the women finished 3rd.
The men's and women's tennis teams were also in action over the weekend. The men defeated Hanover by a score of 8-1 on Saturday, but fell to Chicago by a score of 9-0 on Sunday. The women also dropped Sunday's match with Chicago by a score of 9-0.
The men's and women's track teams competed in the DePauw Indoor Invitational on Saturday, where the men finished in 5th while women took 1st place. Congrats, ladies.
The men's and women's basketball teams had games over the weekend as well. On Saturday, the men fell to Oberlin by a score of 71-57, and the women topped Oberlin by a score of 51-41. The women had a quick turnaround and were back in action on Sunday to defeat Hiram by a score of 71-41.
That will do it for this episode. Once again, I'm Gray Collins.
And I'm Francisco Vila.
And as always,
roll Tigs.